Welcome to Waxing Comical. It's Luke.
Podcast.
And who else is it?
Dane.
And it's Dane.
On the podcast.
On the podcast. Talking about Batman and Superman and how much they love to fight each other. Yes, in that order, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm not lying. I'm not just saying words.
We talk about Dark Knight Returns, the comic, and also the movie.
It's a movie.
It's two-parter. It was released on two different dates.
Yeah, like Hunger Games 4 was one movie, but they were like, oh, let's release it in two parts.
Yeah, I'm still not going to watch it.
Me neither.
I would rather watch Batman do stuff.
Sex stuff? Batman Donkey Show.
Yeah. Bat Donkey. He's got a bat cow and bat dog, so...
Ace the Bat Dog.
Ace the Bat Dog, whatever. Well, the cow is still just a bat cow.
Yeah, that's just bat cow, because a child named it, that's why.
Yeah, but which is kind of sad, because it just makes it sound like he doesn't have, like, his own normal identity. He's just always a superhero cow.
Is he ever a superhero cow, or does he just have the name of a superhero cow?
Are they not one and the same?
When does he stop a crime?
He lives with Batman, so...
All the time.
Probably frequently. He probably gets dropped out of the Batcopter, or whatever.
He's an indestructible cow, so they just drop him on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect crime. I mean, crime stopping. Crime,
okay.
Crime fighting.
Crime
fight.
Crime. Just crime. I mean, vigilantism is illegal anyway.
Technically.
Technically, it is.
Yeah, technically.
It's straight up a crime.
Yeah, and also technically.
It has nothing to do with computers, Luke.
That's technologically.
Yeah, I said that.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Batman and Superman and stuff.
Yeah, we got nothing left.
Yeah, so enjoy listening to it.
We certainly enjoyed recording it.
Speak for yourself. My life is hell. Bye.
Late.
The Dark Knight Returns movie.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of that?
It's pretty good. It was a lot easier to watch than the comic was to read.
Because all you could hear was Frank Miller hating Islamics.
His hate voice and homos, as he says. Or as he has one of his characters say.
Who is probably named Tank Filler.
Why? Why would he be named that? Is that what Frank Miller thinks black people voices or names are?
No, it's because it rhymes with Frank Miller.
Oh.
That was the joke.
No, I don't think that's it. I was a little confused about what happened at the end. Or, just one little part of the end. Like, at the end, after Batman has faked his death, and everyone's having a funeral for him.
Yeah.
Someone comes up, the last person there, I assumed was Kelly, Robin?
Yeah.
But, Superman's looking at her very suspiciously.
Seductively.
But, I don't know why. Is there a reason he should have been suspicious of her being there? She was Batman's sidekick, and then she went to pay her respects at his funeral. Why is that, a bad thing?
Because he knows that Bruce is alive.
But how? How could he know that from her just being there?
He heard his heartbeat in the grave. Did that not come across in the movie?
No, not really. That's
what happened.
There was a heartbeat. It was clear that he was hearing a heartbeat, but it just seemed like it was hers. Okay, I think I get it. She had a shovel. That was what that was.
Yeah, she just goes around with shovels at funerals, makes people really nervous.
It wasn't clear in the movie that she was carrying a shovel. It was obvious that there was something under her cloak that she was wearing. She's 12. I don't think she has those.
Whoa, okay, pervert. Stop thinking about her body. I wasn't thinking. I was just saying.
But anyway, yeah, no, the movie was good. Or the movies. It was technically two movies, I guess.
It's one movie.
It's It's over 2 hours long.
2.5 hours long.
So that's practically two movies.
That's one movie. if we're talking superhero movies, that's one movie.
Not if we're talking like old Disney movies. I think those are pretty short.
Yeah, but we're not. It's like, oh, if we're talking pirate movies, does that do anything?
Wait, are we?
Not yet.
Oh, damn it. There aren't very many, well, I can't think of a single one, so I would assume there aren't very many, pirate comics. So, I don't know if we will.
There's Tales of the Black Freighter in Watchmen.
Okay, that's a stretch, but sure.
And One Piece is manga, but that counts as a comic.
Yeah, well, since that's a manga, I assume there's a few thousand issues out currently.
820.
That did not need to be exaggerated much for me to make my point.
As of last week.
I think my favorite part of the movie was in the second part when Batman invades or I don't know what else to call it. He goes into a liquor store dressed up as a little old lady and beats some people up.
Like the Punch Master did that one time.
Yeah, but he just... Who was also played by Peter Weller, right? Actually?
The Punch Master
no,
was
Punch
Peter
Master.
Weller?
I was thinking Kick Puncher.
Kick Puncher? No, that wasn't Peter Weller.
Was it not?
He played RoboCop.
No, he was Derek. Derek Mears did that. Yeah, well,
yeah,
which
obviously that
was based on RoboCop.
Of course, that wasn't Peter Weller.
He would do it.
Yeah, oh no, he absolutely would, but he didn't.
Okay, he's a tall, bald man playing a cyborg. How many of those are there? At
Enough
least
that
two.
You get the actors confused.
I figured it out.
Eventually.
But yeah, Batman really liked to disguise himself as other people and just beat on other people, doing very
Yeah,
much.
he really liked that Dana Carvey movie, The Master of Disguise.
Didn't you?
I saw it.
I remember enjoying it. I was a child when I saw it, so I'll use that as my excuse. I watched the movie, or the second half of the movie or so, on had it sped up, and so I could watch it faster, and it made some parts a little bit more humorous than I assumed they were supposed to be. Like when it was some congressman, the Joker hypnotizes and has him call for a nuclear strike and then commit suicide, I guess. And like he, walks out onto the ledge of a building and jumps off right before a cop can save him. But when it's sped up, it goes something along the lines of, "Hey man, come here!" Ah! It was very unexpected.
What a silly Billy.
Funny you should say that, because they say Billy a lot. It is their favorite word in this
the mutants?
/movie. And Carrie Kelly, Robin, she uses
she's
it
young.
like unironically.
She knows slang.
She shouldn't. Not this slang. It's awful slang. Was it Year One that also had Jake as an adjective frequently?
Did it? I don't remember.
We talked about that.
We did, and I just read it recently, and I do not remember it all.
Someone kept saying, "That's so Jake," or
maybe
something.
I blocked
along
it
those
out
lines.
because that's retarded.
I thought that was Year One, which would explain it, because it means that Frank Miller thinks that people's first names are just adjectives that can be used whenever.
If you're talking about something we talked recently, that was Ultimate Spider-Man. Used that so
Ultimate
Jake.
Spider-Man, that was it. Okay.
Okay, so it wasn't okay. I feel like I would have remembered in Year One.
I couldn't remember where it was from. Okay, so yeah. Well, then maybe Brian Michael Bendis was heavily influenced by Frank Miller.
It's just like, just pick a name and use it as a word.
Because the mutants keep saying Billy. Like, I can't...
It's crazy how we absolutely nailed how we all talk nowadays.
I can't even... I can't repeat any of the lines they had, not because they're just so horrific or anything, but because they're so grammatically incorrect that I can't...
They're like anti-sentences?
Yeah, I can't remember them. Like, I can't...
Maybe he's actually a genius, and he came up with perfect sentences that you can't remember. Like, they just don't work in your mind,
as soon
in
as
a
you look
logical
away
mind.
from them, they just evacuate your memory.
I just remember her calling people Spud because you sent me that page yesterday.
Yeah, they keep calling people Spud. The mutants specifically like saying
they're slicer dicers.
Yeah, slicer dicers or slice and dice. They say nasty, but like as a compliment, like
Negan did that one.
She my kind of nasty, which still can't be right because it's too close to being grammatically correct.
Maybe they really like that Janet Jackson song.
Is it Miss Jackson if you're nasty?
Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
What did you think of The Dark Knight Returns in general?
I liked it. Obviously the art is an acquired taste.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Hey, I can appreciate Frank Miller's art. It's not something I would ever because I'll look, I have plenty of books that I look through to look at the art, but his nothing that he does would be one of those. But I can appreciate it.
His art is not what you would call a work of art.
You should read Sin City does work better just because it's mostly black and white, so it's heavy shadows.
And it's supposed to be more of a noir to begin with.
Yeah, and half the characters are like monsters anyway, so it makes sense that they would look like that. But yeah, I don't hate his art.
Did he do all the art? Because I thought Klaus Janson.
Klaus Janson is an inker. Yeah, he did a lot for. He works with John Romita Jr. a lot as well.
Okay, I didn't realize who had done what there. But yeah, this was my first time with Dark Knight Returns. Took me a while
because it was not gentle.
not entirely.
Very difficultly.
I still haven't finished the comic itself. I read the first half of the comic and then watched the whole movie.
I think the last time I read it was, that was like when I worked at Pac-Man, so that was like 2011.
Yeah.
And I did watch the movie a couple years ago because I bought it because it was like on sale and it was both parts together.
Yeah. It probably didn't help that it was so hyped up, ever since I've heard of it, because it's what critically acclaimed as like one of the best Batman stories.
Yeah, like one of the highest selling comics of all time and all that stuff.
And the story's great. I like the story, but the writing and the art are both a little dated.
Yeah, which is ironic because they're based in I guess the present.
It's not ironic. It's completely expected.
Is that not ironic?
No, even though it's set in the future, it's still made in the past.
Yeah, but some people are forward thinkers. Like if Tony Stark wrote a comic book, it would be nonsense because he's such a good futurist.
Not every movie that was made in the past but takes place in the future looks like it was made in the present.
The Warriors.
I don't even think that took place in the future.
It was the near future. It was some kind of future. They did. I think there's a version of it where it starts off with in the future,
which 1979.
Yeah, it looks and feels like 1979 at all times. They could have gotten away with it maybe if they didn't use music that was modern at the time. Nobody made any music in the last several decades.
People like listening to music from the past.
That's true, but these are gang members.
That's true. Speaking of,
they would be listening members, to reggae or dubsteps.
I can't tell if that's racist to assume that gang members
most
listen
of the
to
Warriors
reggae.
Were white.
That's true. Well, the Warriors themselves, not the other gang members or the other gangs.
I think all the baseball Furies were white.
How could you tell? Their faces were painted.
On their necks and hands.
Maybe it was painted.
You cut them in half and count the rings. That's how you tell what race they are.
That's how you tell how old a baseball Fury is. Speaking of gangs, the mutant gang in
that are all dressed like Cyclops.
Yeah, I have no idea what was going on with them. At first, I thought that they were all just really heavily modified, had what do they call them? Dermal piercings, spikes in their heads and stuff. But then Carrie goes undercover as them, and later just takes it off. It's just a mask. Though she didn't have any of the spikes on her head, I think she was just bald.
Yeah, but Luke, in a way, don't we all wear masks?
No, not like that. No, God no. But then at the end, when some of them start to become good guys for little reason,
because Batman's awesome.
But these weren't just misled youths who were just causing a little trouble. They were murdering and raping all over the place.
Now they're going to murder and rape in the name of Batman. What are you not getting about this?
I'm not getting that Batman doesn't realize what he's done.
Batman's not really a good guy in this comic.
No, not really.
But then again, I don't think there's any good guys in this comic. Even Superman's a government stooge.
Is that so bad?
Well, it is when you realize in the second book that the president is actually a hologram and he's being controlled by Lex Luthor. So yes, it's kind of bad.
Really? Because that is not shown in the movie either.
Yeah, don't read the second book because it's garbage. I couldn't finish it. I got maybe halfway through.
So you haven't finished it either. So okay.
No.
So I'm not alone here.
No, I did finish the good one though.
When I was looking it up beforehand, before reading or watching it, I thought I saw somewhere either it's not in the movie and just in the book, or I was just completely wrong and misread something. But like glancing over something, it looked like it was saying that the Joker was actually Dick Grayson.
Not in this. That is the Joker in Dark Knight Returns. In Dark Knight Strikes Again, it's Dick Grayson.
Okay. So I guess
so they basically just did that Batman Beyond thing, but I think in that one it was Tim Drake.
Okay. So yeah, like I saw that at some point before watching the movie, and I was just watching the whole time thinking, "Oh, great! I already know how it's going to end." And then it was just
the whole
Joker.
time he was Ben from Lost.
Yeah, it was a lot more violent than I expected, which I don't know why I expected it not to be. I guess just animated movies. I'm not used to them being very violent.
Did you say animated boobies?
Animated movies.
Why didn't you say animated boobies?
Animated boobies. This fall on CBS.
Oh, and in Dark Knight Strikes Again, Carrie becomes like a cheetah lady. Not like becomes, like she just dresses up like one. She doesn't have surgery or anything.
Oh, like a sex thing?
Yes, based on all the ass shots, yes.
How long after Dark Knight Strikes Again, or how long after Dark Knight Returns is Strikes Again?
At least a little bit, like not like terribly long.
Oh, okay, at least a little bit.
Well, I don't remember. This is years ago. I attempted to read it.
Fair enough. So it's not any better, is what you're saying.
It's much worse.
So by that rate,
so I'm not even going to attempt to read the new one.
Yeah, I don't. Like I have very little experience with Frank Miller. Before I even started reading comics, I knew of him as this highly praised comic writer, one of the best
dying.
And one of the first. And I am not enjoying his stuff that I've read other than Year One. Year One I liked.
His Daredevil. Well, the Daredevil I've read of his is good.
I haven't read that.
He did The Man Without Fear, which was basically the basis for some of season 1. Where he's got that costume that he wears came from Frank Miller.
I liked that costume, whereas it seems most people didn't.
Yeah, it definitely grew on me. I didn't like it at first because I was like, oh, I just wanted to get the costume, the actual costume. But as it went on, I liked it.
Yeah, it makes sense to not have a specially made superhero costume when you just start out as a vigilante.
Yeah. Plus, I like the mask. They clearly had some sort of insert inside of it to shape it because it looked cool. It definitely had a shape to it.
Yeah.
That's not just how a face looks.
Maybe not in your nightmares. Anyway.
Batman.
And Superman, who shows up at the end.
Superman. Played by Mark Valley. The Human Target. That's about it.
Okay.
I'm sure he's done other things.
Well, at least 2 things.
At least. He was on Fringe, for 1 episode. Maybe the whole season. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was another thing that, I didn't know entirely going into Dark Knight Returns. I thought it was more of a Batman versus Superman story, because I had heard that it was part of the inspiration for the movie, the new upcoming movie, but it's not. It's the last...
Oh, in Dark Knight Strikes Again, Superman and Wonder Woman have sex so hard that they break a mountaintop.
Which mountaintop?
Yes.
Because if it's one that's near, an inhabited location, that seems like a bad idea.
I don't remember. It was somewhere. It was a big one. They banged a lot, and then it just kind of crumbled.
Oh.
Yeah.
As far as superheroes who used to get it on, Catwoman is also in The Dark Knight Returns, and she...
Oh, yeah. She's let herself go a little bit.
She does not look great.
She's got pink hair.
That's not a sign of... At her age, that's not a sign of mental stability.
Yeah, there used to be these old ladies that would come to Books A Million with dyed purple and pink hair, spiky hair too.
Ugh.
It's really weird.
That sounds awful, but also fascinating. Yeah, I didn't really have too much else to say about the comic / animated movie specifically. Green Arrow shows up at the end and fires a bow and arrow with his teeth, which, at his age especially, there's no way that should work.
Maybe they're metal teeth.
Maybe. I was listening to a podcast the other day, No Such Thing as a Fish. They talk about just a bunch of random trivia. They were talking about archers at one point, and how, like, medieval longbowmen, the draw strength that their bows had was like 200-something pounds. I think, well, they're using British units. I think they said like 14 stones or something. Does that sound about right?
Ugh, that's not. I don't think that's a real measurement.
Yep. Well, you're British, so you should know. But it was something like 200 pounds, which would be like the amount of strength they were pulling with just their one hand. It's like the equivalent of lifting up a 200-pound person with a single hand.
Yeah,
so
like the Terminator does.
So if that's how much force it takes to draw a bow, then the Green Arrow shooting with his teeth should not have had teeth.
He's got a very powerful mouth.
Been working that jaw. I guess that's fair. I don't know when he lost his arm like 10 years before, right?
Probably. I don't know.
They mentioned that like 10 years before was when there was some agreement for all the superheroes to kind of,
stop
to retire or work for the government, and it's somehow led to Superman ripping off Green Arrow's arm. Was the implication?
Yeah, Green Lantern went to space, and the Flash became a human gerbil. It's not a sex thing.
Sorry? Like,
it's him on a wheel providing power for the country, but like forced.
I put two and two together right before you said that, but there was a second there where I was confused.
Or you thought it was the sex thing?
No, just him being transmogrified into a gerbil.
But wearing a Flash costume.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really, in good faith, recommend that comic. It's just not good enough. I know a lot of people have loved it and thought it's one of the best ones, but I would say watching the movie is a better use of time. Though I feel like the voice of Batman just isn't very intimidating.
Yeah, I noticed that when I watched
RoboCop.
it. It's like, I think it's because maybe I compare everyone to Kevin Conroy as far as voicing Batman.
That's entirely it. He is
and
Batman.
He's the best at voicing Batman, and everybody else just sounds like they're either imitating him or just trying to do something different, and it never quite works. Like, I like the dude who does his voice now in the animated movies, Jason O'Mara, but it still comes off a little weird sometimes.
Yeah. Diedrich Bader's not bad.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want him in like a super serious thing.
Nah.
Like, it's more funny that he does a serious voice in like a cartoon that's like jokey, and that Brave and the Bold.
And then Will Arnett does like a decent Diedrich Bader version of Batman.
Douchey frat Batman.
Pretty much. So Batman versus Superman.
That, I'm very looking forward to that movie.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I feel like there's not much. Like it's kind of predictable at this point. Like there's not much they can do to surprise me. They've already revealed too much with trailers, and like
Robin's booty shorts.
Like Robin's booty shorts and Apocalypse showing, or not Apocalypse, Doomsday.
Darkseid. Oh, Doomsday.
Is Darkseid going to be in it?
I've heard that you see like a quick little shot of him.
So it's just going to be like the shot of Thanos.
Yeah, but it's like during that weird future Mad Max vision that Batman has.
Huh.
That the Flash is also in, apparently.
Where his Captain America shield is broken and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, Doomsday showing up, and I mean, the fact that a Justice League movie is coming next. Like, I mean, not that there was any chance of it anyway, but like now there's definitely no way that either Batman or Superman is going to die, or anything bad's going to happen to them, really.
Unless Batman, or like Nightwing takes over as Batman or something.
Nah.
You look like an asshole when that happens.
Well, when that happens, I will eat my hat.
Or when Superman takes over as Batman because they want to make Superman as dark as possible. So he just becomes Batman.
They just switch roles.
Superman, fly, save those civilians. I can't today. I got stuff going on.
Take me somewhere high, and I'll glide down. Bring me the super chopper.
It just attaches it to his back.
Look at me, I'm flying. Shh. Yeah. So do you think they're going to make it so that they actually have that Batman actually has a fighting chance against Superman? Because
yeah, apparently he's got a kryptonite spear.
Huh. That seems like a kill shot. Like that's not just going to weaken him. That's what he wants to use if he's going to kill him.
Yeah, like Moby Dick.
Is Superman his white whale?
Superman is his white whale.
Because that sounds offensive. Like he's calling Superman
he's white.
Fat.
He's one of the Kryptonian whites.
Do they have non-white Kryptonians?
I would imagine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Zod had some guys who look like Earth black guys.
He had some black friends. Is that what you were going to say?
No, I wasn't actually. I would have said subordinates.
That's worse.
Is it? Because Zod was in charge. That's called chain of command. That's not offensive.
Well.
I'm pretty sure there was at least one in his crew.
At least one what?
Sorry, I mean his posse. What? A black guy. Well, okay, not a black guy. A guy from space who looks like what we think of as black guys on Earth.
Yeah, black's not really an ethnicity. You can still call him black if he's from space.
Space black.
Black as the void he came from.
But if he's like Seal, then he's got those little twinkles in his face. Because of all the scars the Seal
lupus
has in
scars?
his face.
Is that what you're talking
His
about?
lupus, yeah. All people from space have lupus.
Space lupus.
Space lupus. Didn't lupus come from the moon? You stare at the moon too long, you get lupus. Is that it? Is that how you get that?
It is Latin for wolf. So...
There you go. Space fever. Moon fever. Moon from space. Fever.
That makes sense.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
So, they talk about in Dark Knight Returns, and I feel like some other Batman comics at least, like the idea that it's Batman's fault that there are certain super criminals, like the Joker and such.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, that was like the whole thing in at the end of Batman Begins, which is like a terrible name for a movie, like thinking back on it.
But that's where he began.
I know, but it's so stupid as like a name. Why not call the first one Dark Knight and then just keep adding words like they did with Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises?
Well, you can't make the second one Batman Begins. That'd be dumb, Dane.
We'll call it Dark Knight Rises, and then Dark Knight Returns. Easy.
But what if they didn't want it to be based on this particular comic?
It didn't have to be. They just used the title. The Age of Ultron movie was not based on Age of Ultron.
That is true.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had the whole speech at the end from Gordon about how Batman is going to cause, like, escalation. So, like, crime becomes super crime.
Well, yeah, like all the cops are saying it. But do you believe that?
Oh, absolutely. Batman's a nut bar, and he attracts other nut bars. Because it's not like... He, for the most part, he doesn't have supervillains. He just has other crazy people who are theatrical like him. Yeah. Like, you got Clayface and, like, Killer Croc and stuff, depending on, like, the version of Killer Croc. But, like, for the most part, it's just dudes, sometimes with technology.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, not all... very few, I would imagine, of his supervillains are actually directly caused by him, like the Joker.
Unless you watch Gotham.
I don't. I don't anymore.
I haven't watched this season at all.
Me neither. Anyway, I'm gonna say, I think Batman is definitely, like, a large part of the blame for the supervillains showing up in Gotham. Like, when you're looking at just a Batman universe, so, like, you know, all the older movies, you know, the Batman Begins trilogy, all that, like, when it's all self-contained like that, it's pretty much his fault most of the
Actually,
time, it seems.
according to Batman and Robin, I think they do exist in some version of Superman exists in that universe,
Does he? But
unless he's a fictional character. Because Robin at one point says, or no, Batman at one point says, "Now I guess I see why Superman works alone," or something like that. But I guess he doesn't really specify if that's like from the comics or is a dude that exists somewhere out there.
I would imagine that means he exists. But like,
Yeah.
that's still kind of a Batman-centric universe. Like, you don't see Superman, he doesn't interfere or anything. But like, in the comics, when all of the superheroes kind of intermingle and work together, like, and supervillains are popping up from 100 different, origin stories all over the world, it's kind of like, at that point, if Batman didn't exist, there wouldn't be significantly fewer supervillains. There would just be one less hero to stop them, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, he does have like one of the biggest rogues galleries of superheroes. So, I mean, I'm sure some of those guys would still show up, but maybe in different forms.
Yeah, but they'd
Like
still
the Joker wouldn't be a thing.
They'd still be more manageable by other
Yeah.
heroes.
Oh, they'd be more manageable even in a universe with Batman. It's just that Batman is so goddamn paranoid and such a dickhead. Like, stay out of Gotham, even though you could handle this better than I could because you have superpowers.
My city.
Murder! I'll take care of it. I know I can't be everywhere at once. In fact, I can only be in one place at any given time because I'm just a man. But you stay away. Let me handle this. I'll let all these people die just to prove a point.
But I won't kill them myself.
No,
That's not what I do.
Unless I have to, because sometimes I do that in the movies.
Yeah, I think it's like the same deal with Superman. Like, in Man of Steel, nothing would have happened bad to anybody if he had just, gone off-world.
Yeah, or if he just accepted Zod's offer.
Yeah. Which was what, just to leave with him, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure Zod was going to... Well, I don't know, because they knew that he had the Codex. They didn't know it was in his body, but after he found out it was in his body, and this was after Superman had already escaped, and Zod was like, does he need to be alive for us to get the Codex? And that little Weasley guy was like, no. But, I mean, that was like the first time he'd brought up the concept of killing Superman.
Yeah.
So, Zod wasn't really a bad guy, I guess. He was trying to protect his people.
He was a little aggressive, but,
Yeah, he was aggressive, because he's like a military guy.
yeah.
Though,
They usually are.
I did feel bad for him at the end of the movie when he like has a total breakdown because his whole purpose
Because he couldn't find him?
like he we get like bashed over the head with the fact that Kryptonian children are born out of a matrix with like a job and an identity already assigned to them basically, and Zod's whole thing is that he's military. His whole identity is protecting his people, and at the end he has that breakdown where he basically says like, I have no people. I don't have a purpose anymore. Now I'm going to kill you. Like, you can't really blame the guy.
Because he lost his job, Dane.
Yeah, but his job that was literally it's not like he could just go get another job. Like, that was...
Sure he can. Superman did exactly that. He went to a new planet and protected a new people.
Superman was the first child born on Krypton in hundreds of years that, like, he didn't have a purpose. He was free to have his own destiny. Zod had his personality and his job and his purpose like imprinted into him before he was born.
Yeah, but
Superman didn't have that.
He could have just pulled an Omni-Man from Invincible and just like found a new planet, started having sex with all of their women.
Hey, there's a difference between he was raised like that. Zod, I don't think you're getting this. This is in his DNA.
Yeah, but why is the fallback for not being able to do his job going crazy? And
okay, he wasn't going crazy. He was just getting revenge on the guy who took his people out. That's what the military is there for. It's for revenge, basically.
On his son.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while since
because I guess Superman didn't directly kill all those Kryptonians. Lois Lane did. He should be killing Lois.
Wait, what did Lois do? It's been a while.
Or maybe it was the professor.
Are you thinking of Clue?
It was the professor over Metropolis with the black hole bomb. She put that little Superman symbol in that bomb that they made, or it was like the Phantom engine or whatever, Phantom drive. and she like wouldn't go in because like nobody was like, hey, why is it tilted? So she was like, oh, we'll go in. And I think it was the professor that like was like, oh, well, let me just put it up right. And then it went in. So I guess it was technically the professor's fault. And he died in the blast anyway, or the implosion.
So
and Lois just happened to be the only person like thrown out of the plane, and then Superman caught her.
So everything is just even Stevens. All right. Well, still, Zod's a crazy person.
Oh yeah, he's totally crazy. It's justified. Batman's crazy. By
Batman
that
is
logic.
very crazy, and I have not complained about anyone trying to kill him.
I wonder if he's going to bring up that Superman broke one of his satellites in the movie.
Did he? In Man of Steel?
He like, or I think Zod threw it at Superman in space, and I guess Clark like tore it apart.
So just maybe send him an invoice.
On a reporter's salary?
He's Superman. He can scrounge up some money.
He can go steal it.
Yeah, I say that's another thing on the idea of like whether they should even be superheroes in the first place. Like Superman, again, kind of like assuming a Superman-only universe where it's just him and his villains. Like, for the most part, I feel like he shouldn't be a superhero, mostly because he's an alien, and like, I mean, this is kind of a big picture kind of thing. Like, I feel like humans should be kind of in this universe left to their own devices and their own evolutionary, path, whatever. Like if you add in a godlike alien, you're kind
of...
They'll
be encouraged to stagnate evolutionarily?
Somewhat, like you're just kind of disrupting the chain of evolution of humans. Like we should be fighting our own battles and protecting ourselves.
Well, to be fair, he does pretty much only protect one city.
That's true. Most superheroes do. They are very...
picky.
Yeah, I say not patriotic, because it's not the whole country, but they don't like to leave home. They're all homebodies.
Even if they can make it around the world, like at the drop of a hat, they're just like, I'm comfortable here. That's where my bed is.
Yeah, I don't want to learn another language.
I wonder if we're ever going to hear like what Kryptonian sounds like in the movies. I bet it sounds real stupid. Clicks. His mandibles didn't develop under the yellow sun. I wonder if we'll ever have a version of Superman who like doesn't look like a human.
Have we not?
No, I mean like a canon version, like a movie or a comic, like an actual in-universe comic book that. Because I mean, it's very lucky that he looks like when he came to Earth, he looked like a human baby. Like, what if he looked like a bug monster? The Kents would have murdered him.
Yeah, that would be the end of it. Or they would try and not be able to because he's bug Kryptonian, and...
Well, he could have not developed his super durability yet. They could have got a good shotgun blast to the head. Yeah. Exploded him like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly.
Spoilers.
It came out 30 years ago. Suck my dick.
I will not.
Thank you. That'd be uncomfortable for both of us.
Then yeah, that's why that hasn't happened yet in Superman.
It did happen actually in.
You just said you wondered if it would happen.
It wasn't Superman though. That's what I'm saying. In one of Jeff Johns' Superman comics, it's like in the future where aliens are like shunned and hated. And like an alien baby crash lands to Earth, and some old farmers find him, and they like flip out and shoot it with a shotgun.
Huh.
It didn't look too unhuman, and it's in the future, so that should have looked normal. But it was like kind of.
Was it just a black baby? Because that's.
It kind of was
something that.
But
Frank
I mean,
Miller
like black skin, like not like a human, like the color black.
Like you can't see it because it just absorbs all light.
Basically, like there was a face in it, but that was about it. And they shot it with a space future shotgun. It was square, the barrel.
Sure.
Because of the future.
Yeah, I don't think physics should be that different in the future.
It's probably a laser.
Square laser.
Yeah. And they have really bad names for superheroes in the future. Like Earthman was the bad guy.
I mean, we have the Martian Manhunter, so
That's a pretty sweet name.
yeah.
Like, not if you think about it, but like just hearing it is pretty cool.
Like it's right on the edge of being too long. Like
The Martian Manhunter from Mars.
Yeah, that's overkill.
Like, I like when superheroes have the word kid in front of their name. Like, Kid Eternity or Kid Miracle Man and stuff like that.
Metropolis Kid?
Metropolis? No, that's the wrong way around. Kid Metropolis, that's a fine name.
Kid Wonder Woman?
We have Donna Troy.
Kid Batman?
But, like, thinking about it, it sounds retarded. But, like, at the like knee jerk, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, where did that start? Like, when did that become grammatically a thing?
It could have been Kid Marvel Man, because I mean those like the comics that I have are from the '80s, but they're continuations. Yeah, they're continuation. Well, okay, actually, Kid Miracle Man does sound cooler than Kid Marvel Man because they had to change it to Miracle Man when they brought it to America.
I mean, it just sounds dumb if you have Kid and Man both in the same name.
There's also Young Marvel Man
Slightly
or Young Miracle
better.
Man, and one of their villains was called Young Nasty Man. Which is just the best name ever for a villain. I think he was their Black Adam. Because they're just rip-offs of Captain Marvel and the Marvel family.
Wait, and this was also in DC, though?
No, this was, I don't know who owned these, but now Marvel owns the rights, and they republished all the old comic books by Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman, and now Neil Gaiman's actually finishing his run. Because it ended, or like it got canceled back in the 80s, or maybe early 90s.
Alright.
It's good though.
Good for him.
So you should read those. At least Alan Moore stuff. It's very good.
We'll keep that in mind. I haven't read much Alan Moore either, actually.
It's only like it's 16 issues, but it's actually much shorter than that because the first bunch of them were only like it was like a serial series at first, and then it was like the last 6 issues of his run were actual like full-sized issues.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Watchmen might be the only Alan Moore stuff I've read.
Yeah, thinking about it, I haven't read too much by him, but I've pretty much liked most of what I've read. Yeah. Though Crossed plus 100 wasn't very good because he did. It's like based 100 years after Crossed, you know, with the rape zombies. So it's just mostly like he just made up like how people talk, kind of like the mutants in Dark Knight Returns, and it's just annoying. Like it's pretty easy to grasp. It's just annoying to read. I just want to like just. I can get like how people talk now and how people talked in like the olden days, and that's about it.
That's why I like
anything else.
That's one of the things I like the most about Firefly, is that it's like 500 years in the future or something like that.
Maybe a lot more. Who knows?
Maybe more. I feel like it was something right there, but like language has changed very clearly, but it's still understandable while still being. Like
sentence structure has stayed the same.
Yeah, and it still like sounds very weird and alien, like different words they use, but you can understand them.
Yeah, you get the context is very present.
Yeah, even
and
when
I like how they swear in Chinese.
Yeah, even when they're speaking an entirely different language, like you get what they're saying.
Because they're all such good actors.
Yes, they are,
and handsome too.
Yeah. So, who's your favorite?
Batman or Superman?
Batman or Superman?
Batman. Or, goddamn, what the hell's wrong? Superman.
You had 2 choices.
I know, right? And I picked the wrong one. Because he is the wrong one. Superman is my favorite, of course. He's wonderful.
Why?
Something just great about him. I'm not entirely sure why.
Is it the curly Q?
It's not the curly Q, because that's not a thing most of the time. Like, the amount that people talk about it, or like have that on display when they make fun of Superman or whatever, you'd think that he only ever had that, but most of the time it's just parted hair. That's like it's got like a curly bent to it, but there's not usually a discernible like single curly Q. It's just hair.
Yeah, it wouldn't really last very much flying at the speeds he flies.
But yeah, I like that sort of like hopeful, you know, just goodness. I like that. Though it depends on the writer. Like, Superman is one of the characters that you can either get really right or really bad. So I don't like I have like a fair amount of Superman comics, but I don't have like for how long he's been out, I don't have very many because there's only been a handful of stories that I really like that are good Superman stories.
Yeah.
And the rest what do you do with it's writers who can do interesting things with the guy who can do everything.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough. Like, because you have to give him conflict and challenges and things that he needs to overcome in more than a second.
Yeah, and what I really like about when Jeff Johns writes him is that he's like fun to watch as Clark Kent as well. It's the what's the word I'm looking for here? It's like the Hulk problem. Like you need to make both sides of the guy interesting. Like in the old Hulk movies, the Eric Bana one and the Edward Norton one, like I didn't give a crap about Bruce Banner. But now with Mark Ruffalo, I like Bruce Banner like in those movies. Like I'm not just going like just turn into the Hulk, dude. Just hit something. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool too. Except for when he's acting like he's in a 1940s noir movie with Black Widow.
Wouldn't you if you had a chance to hook up with Black Widow?
I'm not a fan of Scarlett Johansson.
You're wrong.
To be honest.
Plus, bonus, she can't have kids.
Because she's a monster.
Her words.
Yeah, those are her exact words. They're very poorly chosen.
Well, personally, I think I like Batman
So
better.
who's your favorite?
Oh, funny you should ask. Batman, actually.
How come?
Because Superman for me has always been kind of boring, but like for the same reason that you're saying a lot of the writers have to overcome that challenge of him being just too powerful. Like, he can just do anything. And that's, obviously that's not always the case in the comics because he can have stories where he's not, just standing there and lasering any villain he has.
Plus, in the comics, he's got more weaknesses. Like, they're never going to give him a weakness to magic in the movies.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have time in a 2-hour movie to be like, oh, by the way, also magic hurts him. It's like just kryptonite and red sunlight.
In Dark Knight Returns, he was weirdly weak to electricity. Like, he got struck by lightning once. After it, first he got hit with a nuclear bomb, and that weakened him a lot. But then lightning struck him, and he was like, "Ah!" and fell.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe the nuclear bomb had something to do with it.
But then later, when he was rejuvenated and fighting Batman, Batman hooks up some device to a street lamp into the power grid and electrocutes him, and it stops him. And
maybe it just got him off. Did he go for his nipples specifically?
I can't say he didn't.
Yeah, that could just be like a Frank Miller thing, because I've literally never seen or heard about that anywhere else.
No. Anyway, yeah, that's funny.
Maybe it disrupts, because obviously he has some sort of anti-gravity field and crap like that. Like, he's got some sort of field around him that does stuff. So maybe it just disrupts that.
Yeah. So it's like an electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah. Because I've always liked... so the same reason I like Marvel more than DC, typically, is that I like mortal characters that are, actually have something to lose and might die when they're...
Like their job at the Daily Bugle.
Facing their villains. Sure.
Or all of their girlfriends.
But Superman, he's just... Despite being the first big character to die, he's not going to die.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen anymore. Whereas Batman, strangely, he is, in some ways, more unkillable than Superman, because he has got every contingency ever. He is kind of one of the more shielded DC characters by plot armor.
Yeah. Even in the comic where he died in Final Crisis, they didn't even hint that he was coming back. They didn't even wait to hint until after the series. Literally the last page, or the last few pages of the last issue, was clearly, it was a silhouette, but it was clearly Bruce Wayne in a cave in the past. So it's not like they even waited a couple months to be like, oh, he's actually in the past the whole time. It's like, an issue later after he died, and there he is. He's right there, guys.
By the way, he's fine. Yeah, I've always liked the idea of just him being essentially a detective who just has all these plans.
Punches
like
people.
he punches people, but he has just everything planned. Like he doesn't have to punch people. He just really likes it.
I always found that interesting too. It seems like in the context of like other superhumans, he has all these plans, but also sometimes the Joker can like get the upper hand on him.
Because the Joker's crazy and unpredictable.
So are all of his villains.
Eh.
Riddler's crazy, Two-Face is crazy, Harley Quinn's crazy, Poison Ivy's crazy, the Mad Hatter is literally called the Mad Hatter.
Okay, well, let's see. The Riddler, he has too much of an ego and pretty much wants to be caught most of the time. He just wants to try to prove that he's the smartest.
Mental compulsion against lying.
Weirdly.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but I think that used to be a thing. Like his dad used to beat him for telling lies, and so like he literally cannot lie.
He does seem like someone who got beat as a kid. If not by his father, then by
just
the other
that
students.
Face, like you just want to hit him.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
For
I'm saying I understand Batman. Look, if the Riddler as a kid was going around like talking in riddles all the time,
riddle me this. I don't know any riddles.
Yeah, well,
Tits.
That's good. Now I know you're not the Riddler.
Exactly. I'm really bad at riddles. I can't even rhyme words good.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Plus, it seemed like he worked harder to be Batman. Like, he was someone who trained all his life and was working like real hard to avenge his parents. Like that was.
Oh my! And he just never shuts up about his parents.
He does not shut up about it. But like Superman, his parents are also dead. But that doesn't really matter to him because he never
Half
knew
the time,
them.
both sets of his parents are dead.
Nah. But at least he got to like grow up being.
That's true.
Raised by a pair of parents.
And they were proud of him. I bet Bruce Wayne's parents were not proud of him.
Yeah.
In like Earth 1, he's kind of like a little dickhead right before, like, and then his parents die, and then he like,
I mean, how old was he when they died? Like 10?
Yeah, he's like 10.
Can you imagine being proud of a 10-year-old?
It depends on the 10-year-old.
What could they have done by that
like,
point in their life?
Like, were they a good kisser? Were you laughing?
Moving on. Yeah, and like Superman, he's just kind of he just gets his powers. Like he didn't have to train, and in most cases, I don't think he did.
Hey,
right?
Standing in the sun and absorbing that radiation, that can be kind of like you need like a book sometimes. It takes a while.
Like in the comics, Superman didn't actually ever train. Like even after he got his powers, right? He didn't like
he was raised on a farm. He did plenty of work.
No, I'm just saying. Like I feel like if I got superpowers and I was living in a world with superpowers, I would like I don't know, maybe join the military or something to like get the actual training and not be just someone who could throw a punch. Because if you come up against someone else who can
kind of throw a punch,
someone else who has superpowers, you're going to want to have an upper hand. So you'd think he'd like...
Or an uppercut.
You'd think he'd want to learn some, jujitsu or something. Specifically that.
Isn't jujitsu grappling? Wouldn't he just crush people?
Could come in handy against Doomsday.
That's true. Well, I don't know. Because, like, fighting, like, relies on being able to recognize attacks and stuff. Like trained fighting. Whereas Doomsday is a monster who's just gonna come at you with its giant meat claws.
That's a strategy. It's good to know which direction he's coming from with his meat claws.
That's like the most you can get from, like how's he gonna approach? He's just gonna come at you swinging like a just an ape.
Yeah. So basically just stand back and let him tire himself out.
Yeah, except I don't think he's going to do that. He's not George Formby.
I don't get that.
It sounds enough like George Foreman. And George Formby was an English like a banjo player.
All right, deep reference.
Deep cut.
Do you know anything about how Doomsday is being presented in Batman vs Superman?
Apparently, he's made from the corpse of General Zod.
Yeah, that was what I had heard. But like, So he's not going to be the Doomsday from the comics. He won't be. I just don't see how he possibly could be. Where he's what gets killed and then becomes immune to whatever. Killed him.
Okay, this is everything I've heard about Doomsday. Made from General Zod. I've heard that his bony protrusions change as the fight goes on, as he gets angrier. So maybe he'll look more like Doomsday towards the end. And I don't actually, I honestly don't remember if I heard this or not. Maybe I just dreamt it. But I think I heard that after they kill him, I guess spoilers, but that's kind of the only way you can do that. I heard that he maybe they hint that he's healing. So I have no idea, but I honestly don't remember if I did actually hear that or not.
I mean, as far as the movie universe goes, I feel like it would be not the best idea to keep him as someone immortal who's just going to keep reviving, because if it's just
we don't have a villain for this movie. You get Doomsday.
Doomsday's back.
He'll fight Cyborg.
Poor Cyborg.
I can't imagine that I'm going to go see the Cyborg movie.
I'll wait and see.
I literally cannot think. I can't see myself sitting in a theater watching a Cyborg movie.
I'll wait for the trailers and more information about it to come out.
Justice League will be coming out first, so he'll be in that. But Jesus Christ, Cyborg.
If they can make it look good, then I will consider it.
I guess. It's hey, Batcomputer the guy, the movie.
Oh, man. If only
Are they going to have to change the title? Because there's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie called Cyborg.
There are movies with the same name. That's a thing that happens.
A single one, other than Point Break.
17 again.
Is that 2 movies?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
White Chicks, probably.
Anywho. Yeah, I'm hoping Batman v Superman.
Dawn of Justice.
The legal drama.
More like Dong of Justice, because they're meaty, juicy dongs.
Oh, this is
something.
But this isn't Brandon Routh.
with his meaty CGI scaled back dong.
He was too super.
I want to find pictures of on the set.
I'm sure they're out there.
Maybe it's just his balls were too big.
But he told everyone it was not his balls because he was subconscious about his large meaty clackers.
Just big old meaty clackers. I was going to say that, damn it. I was waiting for you to stop talking so I could say it. I wasn't going to leave that opportunity behind.
Well, you know what? It's okay. At least one of us got it. Who cares which one of us said it? What's
You're
it matter?
right. I don't even remember anymore what we were saying or who you are or what this is.
I'm trying to think. What else has Zack Snyder done before Man of Steel? He did 300.
He did Watchmen. He did 300. He did Dawn of the Dead. He did...
Did he do Dawn of the Dead?
Sucker Punch, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Written by James Gunn.
Huh. The 2004 Dawn of the Dead in the mall.
Yeah, with the dad from Modern Family.
As an asshole.
Banging some lady.
Yeah. That wasn't weird.
Steve. I think he was called Steve.
Probably. He seemed like a Steve.
He looked like a Steve.
Well, that is...
My dad says that he has a face that he would never get tired of punching.
Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell, who was also in The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, as...
he was Doc Samson.
Betsy's...
Doc Samson.
Other boy.
Doc Samson.
Was that his name?
That's a character from the comics who he played. He has long green hair and it makes him super powerful.
Something like Samson?
Something exactly like that, except for real, because Samson was in the Bible.
Huh. Anyway. I can't see him with long hair.
He didn't have long hair in the movie.
Yeah, but that's why I can't see it. I feel like I was pretty clear about that.
Oh, well, that's fair, because it's not out there.
Yeah, because I can't see it. Well, anyway, so that's Batman v Superman, the podcast. Dawn of Justice.
Dong of Justice.
Dong.
Of Justice.
Of Justice.
I don't know who Justice is.
But she's got it.
She's got that dong. Gonna throw it in the field like Lorena Bobbitt.
Go see the movie.
Yep.
If you want to read Dark Knight Returns...
Watch the movie.
Watch the movie. You can read it if you really want, because some people will anyway.
But read Superman Secret Identity, because that's phenomenal.
Unrelated, but fantastic.
Completely unrelated, but incredible.
That is a well-written Superman. Even though it's kind of not Superman, but it's Superman.
Yeah, it's not, but also it is.
It's a whole thing. I think
go read it.
We'll probably do that for one of our episodes later on.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I love it. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
See you next week.
I think I'm going to say see you never. And it's like, well,
See
we'll
you
do next
never,
week.
you dicks.
You dinguses.